Yes, good evening and welcome back to DR Sports for your post-game live show with myself, AGT. So much to talk about before we even get into that. It doesn't cost you a thing. Please like the video, comment right now, spam the comments with your thoughts of tonight's games. What does this mean for Arsenal? A goalless draw at home, the second goalless draw now in a row for Newcastle. Obviously, I've just been speaking to an Arsenal fan backstage here. He's absolutely gutted. So, Arsenal fans, if you are with us tonight, I know a lot of you guys are going to be on AFTV, but if you're with us now, please make sure you let us know your thoughts about that result. Also, other headlines tonight: Manchester United currently 3-0 up at home to Bournemouth, and it was an absolutely dreadful night for Everton. The Toffees losing 4-1 at home. There was booze, I'm sure. I just caught the end of it. I had the audio off, but I'm probably 100% right in saying that there probably was booze. Also, massive home defeat again for Leicester. Alexander Mitrovic with a 1-0 winner for them in a penalty. We're just about to see the full-time whistle go at Old Trafford, so we'll stay with you if there's anything that changes in the Premier League right now. But let's waste no time. Let's get into the big one tonight, the one that everyone wants to react to, the top three clash. Arsenal versus Newcastle. If I read off some stats here, the game shows really that it was fairly even, really. Possession 66 to Newcastle's 33. Duels won. They both won. Well, actually, Newcastle won more, 56% of their duels they won. Newcastle more successful in the air, 4 offsides. Actually, I did say it was a little bit even. It's probably not, was it? 17 shots to Newcastle's 8. That was 17 for Arsenal. 4 shots on target and only 1 on target for the Magpies. 11 shots out inside the box for Arsenal, 5 in the box for Newcastle, 6 shots outside of the box for Arsenal. When it was getting to those latter stages, we saw a couple of long strikes, long range efforts just to give it a go, I guess. And I watched the game. I think for large parts, it was a fight, especially in that first half. How many yellow cards did we see? It was really a bit of a scrap in that first half. Real quality lacking when it came to clear-cut chances for both teams. I know a lot of Arsenal fans in the second half are going to moan about the penalties not given. So I want to hear a lot of your comments, if I can, in the chat. Let's go right back up to the top. And remember, if you are with us right now reacting to these Premier League games, then make sure you like and subscribe to DR Sports if you haven't already. Arsenal Maniac here, right at the top, saying it's all good. Eddie scoring the 3rd goal in the last 2 matches when the pressure was off. When you needed a match winner in this game, nothing in the middle to score. Striker required, blatant. Do you know what? Big up to Eddie Nketiah. I think the last 2 games he scored 2 goals. His one against West Ham was spectacular. The way he feels his man on the right, goes round him on the left and slots it without really looking. So I always knew, though, that as soon as he didn't score and Arsenal didn't win, then the critics are going to land on Eddie Nketiah's shoulder as that number 14, as that striker now who's on that 6-figure wage every single week at Arsenal. So is that fair? Is that not fair? Let us know in the comments what you think. Is there more that should have been done tonight for Eddie Nketiah in terms of service, or should he have been a little bit more clinical in front of goal? Let us know in the comments. Albanian G. Bro, we're robbed. We were robbed, he says. I guess you're referring to that refereeing decision at the end. Maybe we can do a poll right now. Was that a penalty for Arsenal in the very dying seconds of the game? It was a cross from Xhaka, and it's come off the hand of Dan Burn. I mean, it has hit his hand. There's no question about that. It's just, was it a meaningful handball? Did he intend to do it? Was his arm in an unnatural position? I want to hear your guys' opinions in the comments right now. Not that it matters. The game's finished. We're not going to change any decisions now. But at the same time, let's hear your thoughts in the comments. Harry Kane in the comments. Ha, ha, ha. You're not winning the league. Referring to Arsenal, I'm assuming. Robbed hype. Stop crying, says AB15. Or if you're a United fan, I think that game might have just finished now as well. It has 3-0. That's a big win for United. If you're a United fan like Perth Luxury, you're saying United 3-0, we're going to win the league. The poll is now up. Is that a penalty last-minute winner? Denied, really, for Arsenal. Let us know in the comments via the poll. Arsenal, don't blame the ref, had 95 minutes, I'm assuming he means, to score from open play. Ali A, Liverpool fan in the comments. Big up AGT, still mad about yesterday. Well, if you are a Liverpool fan still mourning that massive defeat last night, then head over to the Cop TV. We've got some great content from this morning on the Hot Topics podcast, filmed live in Liverpool with James and Mario. Clear penalty, says Adjurajwe. Could have at least checked it, says CJ Awunti. I think this is the gripe that is understandable for Arsenal fans. I mean, normally that does go to VAR. The ref probably goes over to the screen and probably gives the penalty. But I feel like because it was such a decisive moment in the game, it was pretty much going to be the kick to win the game. He probably thought, well, if I have a look at this, the pressure is going to be intense on me. It's not really clear and obvious from what I've seen on the pitch. Therefore, I'm not going to go to the screen and I'm not going to have that extra pressure on me to give the penalty in such a decisive moment when he wasn't originally sure 100%. So I think that was his thinking. But again, let me know if you think he thought of anything else. Shambolic refereeings, says a Nosongo. Very disappointed Arsenal fan there. Mustafa saying disappointed, but proud of the performance. This bodes well for the next games. We dominated the third best team. Liverpool, where are you in the league? 3-1. Cheers, Charlie. We're actually 6th right now, which isn't great. Nobby Plies, disgusting force paraded as football by Newcastle. That's all Eddie Howe knows, how to spoil a game for his benefit and to hell with the fans. Very strong that from Nobby. As you guys saw at the end of the game on that penalty decision, it was, you know what, in a lot of ways, this game for me in the first half especially, and right at the end with that penalty call, this reminded me of like a mid to late 90s game between Arsenal and Newcastle. I'm talking Paddy Vieira take Xhaka. I'm talking Joel Linton stick Andy Cole down there. You know, it was a real heated battle out there. So many cards in the first half, tackles flying in everywhere. Maybe Ginola was Martinelli on the night. I'm not too sure. Bruno Gomes, maybe a Nicky Butt. Do you know what I mean when I say that? It was a bit of a throwback, and especially at the end, we saw Eddie Howe maybe slip out of his normal character. He had a bit of a scuff with Arteta right at the end there when he obviously thought it wasn't a penalty. Arteta thought it was a penalty. And then about 30 seconds later, the final whistle went, but they're all, you know, hugging and smiling, shaking hands after that. Oh, well, I wouldn't say hugging and smiling, but they shook hands for sure at the end. So it was nice to see a little bit of a throwback. Do you know what? Arteta, he loves to give it this as well. He loves it. People say that Klopp has a little moan, but Arteta's right up there at the minute. For me, there was a comment as well that I saw that backs that up, which I guess we'll get into it. Always complaining, says AB15. And El Descarriado, right at the top, says, wonder if people will have the same energy for Arteta as they do Klopp. Never seen a bigger crybaby considering his team is top due to a pile of dodgy calls this season. Wow. Arsenal fans, how do you react to that one? Right at the top. Scary picture, if I'm honest, just here. I'm not too sure who that is or what film that's from. I hope it isn't this person that's just messaged in, because you need serious medical attention as soon as you can get it, mate, if that is you. But big up for the comment as well. Let's go right down to the bottom. It's a penalty. It's a pen all day, says Valuria. Tendy Item, big Newcastle fan that we've welcomed many times on streams on the DR Sports channel. Tendy Item. Arsenal so upset with a 0-0 draw. At least for Arsenal, you guys are still first place. At least now, it's not like last time where we beat you out of Champions League football. Oof, there you go. United, I like a steam train. Choo-choo, says Angel. We will get into United. We're still reacting to Arsenal versus Newcastle here on DR Sports. Again, let me know in the comments as well who you thought the player of the match was. Just looking at a couple of the bits there now. Defensively, Newcastle very good. Obviously, they were for keeping a clean sheet. They've actually gone 8 hours and a half without conceding a goal now in the Premier League. That is some record. Massive shout out to Nick Pope, Eddie Howe. He's done such an incredible job in the year of 2022 with Newcastle. It's unbelievable, really, that record, isn't it? When you think about 8.5 hours, they haven't conceded a goal in Premier League. That is very, very difficult. Liverpool conceded 2 last night and the game before that. Sure, ref horrific, says Lordy 91. But would have lost that last year. Xhaka seen red, so point gained. We move, regroup, ESR back, Mudryk in. The greatest champion, Newcastle deserved to win. Asna cheats. Yunus Mab, today's game confirmed that Saka and Martinelli needs competition on the bench. Very interesting. I feel like we should catch up with the comments now. AGT called it. Says Patrick McAteer, toxic. Goodison Park was toxic today. I did say this in the show yesterday with Robbie and Abby. I did say that as soon as that 15-minute period starts and they're not playing well, the crowd get on top of you. They lost 4-1 in the end. Let's go right down to the bottom and catch up with you guys. Should Everton sack Lampard again? Something that we can talk about when we get on to Everton. Why VAR didn't even intervene for the Gabriel pull as well from Jamel. It's a good point. Again, maybe we should do a poll on that as well, because I think potentially that was a penalty as well, or it could have gone at least to VAR. We are robbed for Gabriel shirt pull and lost Min are both penalties, but we are still top of the league, Arsenal fans. It's not the end of the world. It's only the third game this season that Arsenal have dropped points in, so it's really not the end of the world. Are you doing a solo show, says Millie A. Well, I can't see Matisse, Robbie, Abby, Flex, so yeah, I guess it is. It's just me tonight. I hope that's good for you. Shay, no. AGT, stop crying. No, I will not. Cheers, mate. Arsenal fan, this feels like a win for me, says Omar. Best result we could get in a time like this. Only one sub made by Arteta. Signings incoming. Arsenal fans should stop crying, says Jazz. Listen to these crybabies, says Shane. Obviously a Man City fan. Gabby would have saved us. Everton, says Clement, need to sack Lampard immediately. That ref was shocking today. Shane, you're crying and worried. I'm guessing Kun is there talking to the City fan. Shane, Everton, no manager versus United on Friday in the FA Cup, potentially, says Gerard. But here we go. Super chat. And he's called Snake Eyes. Let's have a look at his picture. He's got some serious face protection on there. He's not only got what looks like a bulletproof mask, but he's got a face visor as well. I actually think he's a doctor. If so, big up to you. I was about to ruin you for that, but big up to you, mate. Very important that we support doctors. I think he looks like a surgeon. Looks like he's got a stethoscope on. It's a bit of a mouthful, that one. Mind me while I just drink some more out of my World Cup Budweiser Zero limited edition cup, just to catch my breath. Pen all day, he says, but credit to Newcastle for making it a scarpy game. I'm assuming you mean scrappy, my friend. Newcastle exposed the blueprint to beat Arsenal. They didn't beat them, though. It was a draw. Double up on wingers and Arsenal crumble. Big up to you, Snake Eyes. Let's see if you've made another comment about you being a doctor. Can I see it? Can I see it? No, I can't read his chat. I just did. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Big up to you, though, for the super chat. We should be sending super chats to doctors, let alone the other way around. But we appreciate it nonetheless. What a hero you are in whatever country you're in, whoever you're looking after. Big up to you as a doctor, doing a lot more noble job than I am right now. But listen, people want to hear about the results, so that's what I'm doing. Let's have a look here. I'm a nurse practitioner. There you go. Big up to you, my friend. Thank you very much for engaging with the chat today. Stonewall pen on Gabriel. Arjun. The ref was really poor for both sides. Sorry, but I love City fans crying. AGT legend. Where's that flown off to? Lol, dead clubs loving Arsenal drop points. Spurs fans going to get clapped as Patrick bigs up to DR Sports. We've got another super chat. Nurse practitioner. Thank you very much, Snake Eyes. You're a legend. Big up. Big up to doctors and nurses also, for sure. Right then, shall we move on to Arsenal? Sorry, shall we move on to Manchester United, or should we stick with Arsenal? Let us know in the comments right now. What do you want to do? The Arsenal circle is about to start. The thing is, when you're at the top of the table, and I know this having been there as a Liverpool fan, everyone wants to drag you down. As soon as you draw a game, as soon as you don't score 4 goals in a game, oh, it's slipping. They're not what they used to be. They're going to fall. It's going to all fall down like a deck of cards. This is what they're like, vultures circling around the people right at the top because they support teams that aren't there. Unfortunately, I've turned into a vulture. I was the guy at the top of the tree where the vultures were circling, and now I'm a vulture looking up at the top of the tree. And guess who are at the top of that tree? Right now, it's Arsenal. Right now, they're 8 points clear. So, Arsenal fans, if someone had said that to you at the start of the season, there's no way you can tell me that you would not have taken that. It obviously is going to feel like a loss after a 0-0 draw at home. But that's when you're at the top, that's how it feels. These 0-0 draws do feel like losses big time, especially when you don't get a decision like that at the end of the game. Arsenal showed they're not champions mentality. City would have won this. I don't think you can say that, though, Clipped in the comments. I don't think you can say that. Arsenal have shown a championship winning mentality so far in the season. I don't think if you only lose points in 3 games, and on the third game of that, you say it slipped. I don't think so. I think they've clearly shown with their signings, they're clearly showing again with potentially Mudryk and maybe a midfielder that they want to win this Premier League. They might not come out and admit that, but of course they do. 8 points clear. Of course they're going to want to win this league now. And we can't say that City would have won that either, because City have lost their last, they've dropped points. Well, they've lost against Brentford at home just before the World Cup, and now they've drawn at home to Everton, who've just been pumped at home 4-1. So I don't think we can say that about City either. Eddie Howe, top 4 manager in the league, says Big Mad Andy. If that is the Big Mad Andy from Peep Show, then you are an absolute legend. Big up to everyone who loves Peep Show. If that is Big Mad Andy, I'd be very surprised, but big up to you at least. Tendy item, AGT, I don't know how it feels to lose. The last time we lost a match this whole season in all competitions was against Liverpool. I was there. Matty Renton was there as well, and he was absolutely fuming. To non-Newcastle fans, how does it feel like to lose or concede? I mean, you're getting ahead of yourself a little bit. Tendy item. Relax yourself a little bit, fella. Newcastle haven't done anything yet. We're not even halfway through the season. Everyone needs to chill. Here comes the fake Newcastle fan, says Anonymous. AGT, these City fans crying so hard. City, we would have won this match, draws or loses to anyone, says Zappy Alien. Not the OG, I'm afraid, pal. That's actually quite a shame, if I'm honest. I love Big Mad Andy on Peep Show. Back to Patrick. Everton's one of the strongest teams in the league. We're holding everybody up. True. Big up to Pat. Clearly an Everton fan, and clearly not loving the result tonight. 10 clean sheets in 17 games for Newcastle, says IA. Now, that is something that should be shouted from the rooftops, right? The defense, with not a lot of money, or they haven't spent a lot of money on the defense when you look at it. I know Matty Target's out now for around 2 months, but a left back, Dan Burn, 6'7". You've got Trippier on the other side. They're littered with height, this team. The defense he's put together with Shah and Botman, I'm loving it. They are almost indestructible. Clearly the best defense in the league this season. Absolutely. And they've not conceded, like I just mentioned, in 8.5 hours now, the Magpies. So listen, you have to give it to them. Newcastle fan just underneath that saying you tried to cheat and you still couldn't beat us. There you go. The handball is debatable and probably isn't, but the shirt pull is a clear pen all day. Interesting opinion there. Someone in the comments saying Lampard's sacked. I don't think that's actually happened yet. It definitely won't be that soon. I just need Lampard to stay at Everton when Arsenal play them, says Clip. Everton getting absolute pelters here tonight, as you should if you lose 4-1 at home. Big up to Brighton, though. You have to give them the credit. No chance of penalty, says Shane. Newcastle defence was immense, says Bouncer 786. Man literally grabbed the ball, says Cal 2. Arsenal lacked depth, no subs. Man City got Haaland and Alvarez, says Rapture Ceballos. Lampard might be the worst Premier League manager of all time, says Domino. Wait, has he actually been sacked? If he has been sacked, then we need to clip this up and put it out with a video. But if he has been sacked, then that would be very, very interesting. And I didn't think it would happen that soon. I'm trying to reel off some big chances. There weren't many, were there? Newcastle, certainly not. I mean, again, my abiding memory from that first half, I was putting a draw together at the same time as well from IKEA. Incidentally, the draw is called Alex, so I don't know what that means. Maybe I'm a draw in some other way. But I was watching the game very in-depthly at the same time. But again, a lot of yellow cards in the first half. I can't really remember too many clear-cut chances. Callum Wilson didn't look happy when he came off. He put himself about tonight big time, got a yellow card, which was probably the best move to take him off in the end. Bruno Guimaraes, a naughty tackle on Xhaka. He got a yellow. Xhaka himself got a yellow, maybe lucky not to be sent off. But the abiding topic from this game is, of course, that penalty right at the end. AB15 saying not a pen. Do we have results from the poll as well? Just asking production, do we have those ready to share with you guys? I reckon it will be close. It depends how many Arsenal fans are in the comments right now and how many non-Arsenal fans there are, or haters in that matter. Joel Linton did miss a sitter, to be fair. He had that header at the far post. That was a sitter. Considering his height, that is a golden chance. It really was. Big up to you, Marco T, for reminding me. Eddie is the main weakness at Arsenal. He won't turn up at the big game, says O'Shane. Listen, I'm clearly not an Arsenal fan. I'm in Liverpool City Centre right now, wearing the new Liverpool colour Flux t-shirt. But I think that's a little bit unfair to put all that blame on Eddie's shoulders, to say he's the main weakness. I'm not sure about that. Right, we've got the results back for the poll. Was it an Arsenal penalty right at the end? 64% of you say yes, and 35% of you, I'm not sure that adds up. It should be 36, really, shouldn't it? 36% of you say no. So 2/3 versus a third of you are saying that is a penalty. The poll is now complete with almost 2,000 votes. Big up to everyone who's involved right now. Eddie played good, says Toby Skills. I'm not an Arsenal fan, says Levy. But Arsenal should have had a pen on Gabriel, and Eddie needs a few wet nights up in Stoke on loan. Very harsh, that from Nobby Plies. The foul on Gabriel was definitely a pen, but the last one, I don't know. Eddie was good. Newcastle got a good defense. Brighton fans singing "Give us our ball back" was funny. Were you at the game tonight, Patrick? If so, let us know what the atmosphere was like in there. Let us know how toxic it was at Goodison Park tonight, especially after it goes to 4-0. And Everton only just get a consolation goal in the 93rd minute with Damari Gray, who now has 2-2. I guess that's the only real positive thing that's happened for Everton in the last two games. But 19 shots for Brighton away, and half of those on target. A very, very impressive performance from Brighton. I tell you what, I'm not looking forward to when Liverpool go there next week. Really am not. Newcastle put up in a fight, but we're not worth it in the end, says Graham. Liverpool are finished, says Dino. Don't have a go at Liverpool. I'm talking about Arsenal, right? Yes, I did make a bet on DR Sports in July. First of all, it was for entertainment purposes only, so everyone getting excited saying I have to pay it. You know, it was for the content people, but it still could happen. Arsenal could still win the league. I also didn't say which gender of Arsenal will win the league or which year. So in the law of court, that will defend me. Already dreading Friday, says Toffee 147. Of course, Everton play Manchester United on Friday in the FA Cup. Everton fans not looking forward to that in the slightest, as you can see. Bellingham needs to come to Liverpool, says Anonymous. Big up to you. He really does. I really would like that very much. AGT 10k down, but it's bad when people say Arsenal bottle it when we draw against a team who could clap most teams. And Slick View Media laughing at the gender comments. Right, production, can we move on or should we stay with Arsenal? Let me know in the private chat that we have here on our streaming service for DR Sports. I like to be honest with you guys and say that I am speaking to production at the same time as you guys, just to make the show better. It works like that. Round up with how it might affect the next Premier League games. Right then, how does this affect the next few Premier League games? Well, Arsenal now have to win their next Premier League game without question. It's a very, very difficult couple of weeks for Arsenal. Next game, Tottenham. You can assure there's going to be some massive previews for that on DR Sports and across AFTV. But that's a massive game. Now, Arsenal traditionally don't win at Tottenham. They normally draw. I know they got a big win there last season, but apart from that, Arsenal need to lay a real marker down. And these are the moments now when now you show your championship winning mentality. Now you show your mettle in these games, in big derbies, when traditionally maybe you haven't scored as free-flowing as you would have liked in the past. But Arsenal now, after drawing this game tonight, they haven't scored as well, by the way, tonight. They now need to beat Spurs and score. Spurs, probably a very good time to play them for Arsenal, really, isn't it? And then I think Arsenal play Manchester United very shortly after that as well. Newcastle's next game, Fulham, who will be buoyant after winning tonight 1-0 in a massive away win up at Leicester. Willian getting an assist, the former Arsenal winger. Mitrovic's goal is his 11th Premier League goal of the season, equaling the season's best return. So that's brilliant to see if you're a Fulham fan, how he's really shut up his haters and his critics. So how does it affect the next Premier League games? Well, Newcastle now, after drawing 2 games in a row 0-0, now they have to show their mettle and beat Fulham. They have to now if they want to stick within the top 4 conversation. It's not that desperate, of course, but they'll want to keep the momentum going. Arsenal obviously have Spurs and they need to win that after drawing tonight, and they'll be tested. They'll be criticised if they don't without showing that metal, steel-like determination to win the Premier League title. That's what it takes. That's what it takes. You've got to go and win these massive games back to back, week to week to week, 3 days after the next. That's how it is if you want to be right at the top. And Arsenal fans clearly are enjoying it right now. Right, let's have a little look at the other fixtures tonight. As I mentioned, that Fulham win takes Fulham now in the table to a very nice for them, 7th place, 28 points, 3 wins in a row. They're actually level on points with Liverpool, won the same amount of games as Liverpool with 8. So they deserve to be there. Absolutely, they do. The Whites are absolutely flying, but the Newcastle will be looking to turn those 2 draws into a win when they play them next. If we're still looking at the table, Arsenal right at the top, they're 8 points clear, 44 points already. If they can double that, less than half of the season played, then you would be looking at a title winning tally when it comes to taking home those points with 88. That might be enough. It has been enough in recent years. So we'll move on from Fulham and Leicester. Let's now look at Manchester United, Bournemouth, right? Casemiro with the first goal. 2 goals for United now since joining from Real Madrid in August. Rashford scored again. Very impressed with his run of form. He's really got his head down. He's trained relentlessly. And you know what? He deserves the plaudits right now. He really does. Apparently he rounded, I haven't seen the goal, but he rounded it off after Casemiro latched onto a Christian Eriksen free kick with a lovely volley, apparently, to put them ahead halfway through the first half. And United really now sit nicely again in 4th, 5 points clear of Tottenham behind them. Is it United's to lose now, that 4th place position? Let us know in the comments. They are now level on points with Newcastle in 3rd and 4th. So technically they're 3rd right now, I guess you could say, for Manchester United. Alejandro Garnacho with a goal. With an assist for Luke Shaw. Rare that Luke Shaw scores goals, but on the 49th minute, he kind of almost cushioned United to breeze into that second half really in comfortable style. And 4 minutes before the end, Bruno Fernandes sets up Marcus Rashford to make it 3-0 to United. United fans, how happy are you with this continued now run of form? Let us know in the comments right now. I want to hear from you. Are you happy that you're in and amongst the conversation for the top 4? Can you push on even more than the top 4? You've still got players like Sancho to come back, still got players like Anthony to really step up to that plate. But it's not looking too bad right now if you're a United fan. 35 points, and it's looking good. It is looking good. We're looking at some of the player ratings now. It looks like Casemiro was probably man of the match. I didn't watch the game. United fans, if you did, let me know if you think that is the truth. Was Casemiro man of the match in this game? Let's have a look at some of the comments. Big Casemiro and Rashford doing the business for Manchester United. Eddie Vatex. What a transformation from Manchester United, says Anonymous. 9 points behind Arsenal, says IA. Maguire had a howler. Unsurprising. When does he have a good game? Vamos, Este Gaming. Casemiro man of the match. Casemiro fire emojis from Mos Def. A great rapper, Mos Def, actually, if you know your music. Casemiro, a lot of guys saying Casemiro in the comments here. KD21 saying nobody, so maybe it was a little bit overly zealous to be giving Casemiro the man of the match. United have played nobody, says KD21 again. Very vocal tonight. Everton has lost 30 games since the start of last season, says Patrick McAteer. We will move on to them next. Manchester United will make it into the top 4. Bruno, man of the match, says Diablo MUFC85. United have played nobody, says Mitchell. Bruno, man of the match. Maybe next 2 games are big for United, says Goku. City and Arsenal, massive here. This period for Manchester United, they need to make sure that they come away with that with as many points, but so do City and so do Arsenal. So what are they going to be? They're probably all going to be draws. Man City versus United next league game. Calm down, says Peter Kawa. And United played Arsenal. Brooke Solomon is saying to defend Arsenal, I think. But United fans, let us know in the chat right now. How does this performance, how does this victory tonight put you in, or how well does it put you in good stead for the rest of the season? You had to win it, and you did. Right, let's go to Everton. They sit now in 16th place, 4 defeats in the last 5. I suppose there was a temporarily happy time when they drew away at City at the weekend, but only 3 wins out of 18 this season. Let me do some quick maths. I think that's a 6th. So they've won a 6th of their games this season, and they've lost 9, 6 draws as well, minus 10 goal difference. That is atrocious, really. And Everton are in free fall. The only other 2 teams that are in this bad run of form, similar to Everton, West Ham just below them, a point under them in 17th, and of course Southampton. All of these teams, hella red crosses through their form tables. So it's not looking good if you're a toffee. Let us know in the comments if there were any Everton fans there, apart from Patrick tonight, to let us know. And let's see who they said was man of the match in that game. You have to shout out Brighton, by the way, to win that 4-1. And Mitoma, by the way, what a prospect this guy is. I would almost go as far as saying that Brighton have the best scouts in the Premier League, but they've all been swapped with new scouts that probably will be very good, considering that the old scouts have now all been signed by Chelsea. So that says a lot about Chelsea. It's almost a bit of a paradox, really. You're not scouting for scouts. You're just taking scouts that are really good at scouting, if that even makes sense. Mitoma scoring, Ewan Ferguson scoring his 2nd goal in only his 2nd Premier League game. The 18-year-old gets an assist there as well, only 3 minutes later for Solly Marsh. What a period that is for the young man. In 3 minutes, a goal and an assist away from home. Pascal Gross as well, really putting the nail in the coffin. And there was 3 goals scored in 6 minutes during 51st and the 57th minute for Brighton. And Everton have fallen apart. They have totally fallen apart. They're in free fall. Does this mean now that Frank Lampard gets the sack? Let us know in the chat. Maybe we do a poll just before we leave. Fraud Lampard, says MKH. Newcastle is getting top 4 this season, says Pete. And man of the match was Mitoma, says Patrick. There you go. Was there another game tonight? I think we might have covered them all now. Leicester, we've done. Manchester United, Arsenal, and of course this one, Everton, Brighton. Right, I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. That was your fairly digestible 32-minute post-game live show right here on DR Sports. If you have not already, please subscribe to DR Sports. Subscribe to the COP TV as well, for sure. The debates are still rattling away in the comments. I can see them. Gabriel shirt ripped off says Dick Trussay. Interesting name. Very interesting. 2 Stonewall penalties, he always says. And Diablo, Lampard will lose his job this week. We're going to finish it off there, people. But don't let that stop you. Keep the comments rolling in as we come off line. And of course, we'll be back tomorrow with more content for you. But this was AGT with your post-match game live show. Take care.